So it's been a grand total of 3 days now since Sword and Shield's release, at least in America. I know that a lot of people got it on the 14th doing the Australia thing. I didn't. I did it honestly, and I've already beaten it. And so I just wanted to give a true, honest, my thoughts about it. What I'd rate it. Not spoiling anything. No spoilers. But my thoughts about it. Because, well, now that I've finished the main story and finished the post game, I'm kind of here left to now just competitively grind. Get better. Go through it. Get Shield soon so I can replay that. So I plan to get Shield too. So yeah, we can just really jump into it. There aren't going to be really any visuals or anything. And actually, I plan to start. I plan to start up a new series on this channel the day of Sword and Shield release. But you know, I just said, how about let's play this game first? And so that series will be coming soon, at some point. Which is completely contradict each other now that I think about it, but it'll happen. I don't know when, but it'll happen. So, let's just jump into it. Philip DeFranco. So, this is probably the most controversial Pokemon game of all time. Between the National Dex, Game Freak being a little bit sketch in their interviews, and just a lot of people either being very angry at the game or being fine with the game. Me personally, I was one of those people that in the end I knew I liked the game, and I did. I'm gonna say it now. I really enjoyed this game. It was a lot of fun to play, and I know the graphics were one thing that was brought up and critiqued a lot. Like, oh, look at the trees, oh, look at the rocks, look at this, yeah, it looks so bad. I don't think those people take that back. Those people just need to shut up. These are the greatest graphics we've ever had in a Pokemon game, ever. They looked amazing, and I loved them. The rendering distance for some characters could have been better, but it isn't something really worth complaining about. The region itself, the region itself was just beautiful. I loved the way it was set. Everything looked good. This game looked really good. In battle, at least from what I've seen, there weren't really any problems slowing down. The Switch was able to render stuff perfectly and keep the game running smoothly, or process stuff. So I mean that in that sense, the technical sense, and the way it looked amazing. The story, this game was definitely not as story driven as some games can be. I'm thinking of something like Black and White, but I feel like Game Freak isn't gonna make a story driven game ever again. Pokemon game, really. And I have my own reasons for that, which are worth another video. But I didn't really have a problem with it. I'm not gonna spoil. I'm not gonna spoil like who the final boss was or who did this, who did that. In the end, it was still enjoyable, and the final climax felt really interesting. There were many unique parts. The characters in this game were amazing. I love so many of them. The gym leaders felt like they had so much more personality this time. They actually did stuff, and it was just very cool seeing. They felt so much more like people. Sort of similar to, it kind of reminds me of the Trial Captains, but even yet, then this is more than the Trial Captains, in that they have a personality. Like, think back to X and Y, gym leaders in that game did jack shit. They did nothing. In Sword and Shield, they're amazing. And their characters, like, not even the fact that they just do stuff, they are interesting characters. They're dynamics. Them as people are interesting. All of them are. The rivals, Beanstor, I'm not gonna spoil what happens to him, but he's probably one of my favorite. He's probably one of my favorite characters in the entire game, because his story is just so interesting. Hop. A lot of people might get annoyed with the whole, oh, I'm Leon's brother, I'm gonna be the greatest, I'm gonna be the champion, but he goes through genuine development in this game. I'm not gonna tell you how, but he goes through genuine development. Marnie not doesn't go through so much development, but she has goals. She has a good basis for a goal, and there are people around her that she has a huge effect on, other than Team Yell. Um, Let me think more. New Pokemon wise, I didn't dislike a single one of them. The worst it would possibly be is just like, okay, it's Pokemon, but most of them is like, you know what, it's not even like they're necessarily weak. It's just like that's a strong design. The designs of these Pokemon were really good this generation. They really were. I don't know strength wise how strong many of these Pokemon are. Still yet to test the waters for competitive, though. I'm gonna do that soon. And it was a blast to just go through. The national dex didn't feel like a problem to me. It wasn't the only thing on my mind when I was playing. It wasn't a problem on my mind at all while playing the game. The gyms themselves were great. The gym battles, granted, since I picked Scorbunny, the only gym leader it took me multiple times to beat was Nessa, and I lost to her once. But every single gym battle, I felt like I was on the brink of losing, even if I beat him for nothing. I always felt like I was on the brink of losing, and a very common thing that usually goes through is that is like Pokemon League comes after Final Climax and stuff like that, or like after the 7th gym. That's when a lot of stuff happens, and I'm not gonna tell you how it's different. I'm just gonna tell you it's different this time around, and it's very cool. Like the game, like I said, it's not too story driven, and the final climax kind of jumps on you quickly, but it slowly hints you. It slowly nudges you in there, to the notion of what happens, and the backstory to Galar is actually pretty cool too. Not gonna tell how. And the wild area was very fun to go travel around. Max raid battles are a lot of fun, pretty easy too. Easy way to grind, easy way to get to level 100, very easy. But really, I mean, I guess my only pet peeve with the whole max raid battle thing is it's the only way to get a Gigantamax Pokemon. You cannot your Pokemon cannot Gigantamax unless it is caught in the wild area. Like a special icon will show up next to it saying that it can Gigantamax. Because other than my starter and the respective legendary that I got, all my mons should have been able to Gigantamax, and they couldn't. And I learned the hard way, and it sucked. Still had a fun time playing with them anyway. The leveling in this, the battling was really good. The AI sometimes, man, dude, sometimes the AI in that game just dunked on you. I mean, man, there were some battles in there there were some trainer battles where I got taken down from a full team of 5, from not a full team, but a team of 5 to a team of 2 by like 1 or 2 trainers. And back to I was on a point or something. Shit. That was something. I can't remember it. The leveling, yeah. So the leveling in this game, it's very smooth. The levels end up being actually pretty high by the end of it, and I like that. I think one of the highest level champions we've ever had. I don't think it's the highest. It's not the highest. Dianthus still the highest, but it's up there, and it was very fun. Your Pokemon ended up being decently high level by the end of it all. And the leveling, it's not super slow. The pace of the game is not super slow. It doesn't take a ton of time to drag out between gyms. It's just like, go here. It's just like you know what you have to do, and it's not like it drags on. It's incredibly slow. The action doesn't really ever stop. Um, it's hard to think of. I'm trying to think of anything else really, without spoilers. Because there's a part that I'm saving for the end. The battle with Leon, that gave me a run for my money. I had 1 month left against his Charizard, and that it was such a good battle. Leon is one of my favorite champions, if not my favorite champion of all time. Because I'm not gonna say why, but he's definitely either my favorite or definitely up there. Because of his involvement in this game. Uh, it's something that we don't get to see from a lot of champions. Because keep in mind, Professor Kukui is not a champion. In Sun and Moon, you were the champion. Professor Kukui was just a congratulation battle. And actually, that brings up a good point. A thing I like about this game is it went from Alola, which was a developing region, developing its own Pokemon League and stuff like that, to Galar, where it's like the top of the world in competitive wise. It has these grand stadiums for gym matches, super competitive gym leaders. It's super professional, super sports like, which I love the Galar region as a whole. It's a very cool region and very different from the others. Yes, I think the final thing that I want to bring up is the National Dex problem. Like I said, while playing through it, it didn't even cross my mind once. But a funny thing that I saw is that people are actually modding in old Pokemon that were cut into Sword and Shield. People have modded the National Dex into Sword and Shield, which I'm not necessarily against it. I'm a mix between being surprised and not being surprised, because it's like, okay, some people were still very annoyed with the National Dex situation, and we could have. And so I'm not really surprised that we would try out our own ways to get these Pokemon into the game. But on the other hand, I'm like, wait a minute. How is this possible? Because they hack-proofed the Switch so much to the point where I didn't even think that they could mod it in. But they did. So the National Dex problem, it's not too much of a problem in there. In that game, some more problems. Like it's not a perfect game. Keep in mind, it is not a perfect game. Like I said, the Gigantamax thing, it kind of just became a ploy for you to do max rated battles. But there's so many quality of life improvements. Like competitive training is so much easier. Like they made so many improvements to it. The character customization, not personally. I haven't really truly looked through it all, and but from what I've seen, it's a lot bigger than X and Y and Sun and Moon, which is good. The hair cutting thing, I think, is the same from Sun and Moon. Just a lot of quality in life improvements. And you get, like, for example, you get the town map immediately when you start your game. You get the town map immediately. I can't. This video is so unprofessional. My phone's exploding. I have a bunch of shit going on. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna try to wrap this up here with my final consensus. This game is good. Is it worth the buy? Yes, I would definitely get it. It's the greatest graphics of Pokemon game we've ever seen. Story wise, probably not the best, but like gameplay wise, so much fun. Going through the overworld is just so much fun. The new Pokemon in it were great. And it's so much, and it's just very, very worth it. And so yeah, I'd definitely recommend this. I'd put this at either myself an 8 or 9. out of 10. Yeah, 8 or 9 out of 10. I don't know. I can't remember if I've done. I think I've done a ranking all the Pokemon games. And I need to fit this in there somewhere. I don't know quite yet if I put it in the S tier, but at the very least, I'd put it in a B tier. I'd probably put it in the A tier, to be perfectly honest. And so, yeah, with all that being said, I've been Inferno. This is a very unprofessional review, but also beautiful, lovely people again next time.